Hi, this is our SPSS tutorial 1. In this SPSS tutorial, I'm going to show you how to enter your data into SPSS, how to ask SPSS to calculate descriptive statistics for you, and how to generate histogram in SPSS, and how to create a box plot. And then I also want to show you how to ask SPSS to calculate z-scores for you. Okay, let's get started. So, when you are ready to you want to use SPSS to enter your data to do your data analysis, and then you need to click open your software. When you click open your software, SPSS software, usually they will have two windows pop up. And then you need to close this, X out this first window. And then the window you really need is the statistics data editor. So in this window, at the bottom to the left-hand side, you will see you have two tabs. So one tab is variable view, and another one says data view. So the first step will be click on variable view, because the variable view is the place you're going to enter your data into SPSS. So if you look at the first column says name, type, the second one says type, width. So I'm going to show you today, just look at the first column, name. This is the place you're going to give your variable a name. If you look at the data I created for our tutorial 1, it's about the scenario for this one is a market research team went from store to store in a local mall checking prices of jeans. And then there's a list of those prices that they got. And then you need to enter this data into SPSS. And then the first step will be you give your variable a name, because you only have one variable here. So you would just enter one variable here and then name this variable. Because since this data set is about prices for jeans, so I'm going to name my variable as price. So I would like to give you some suggestion about how to name your variable. In SPSS, I believe you cannot use like a space or any special symbols in your name for your variables. So I would suggest that whenever you want to name your variable, the best thing you can do is you name as one single word, and then with no special characters or symbols. So after you name your variable as price, because I only have one variable, if you have two variables, you will go ahead and give another variable in the second row. But since we have only one variable, I have finished name of a variable, and I'm going to click on my data view. Okay, so if you click on data view, you will see the variable you just named has already shown up there. Now I want to let you know, in SPSS, each column here represents one variable. If you have another variable, this variable will show up here next to the variable you have now. So, and each row in your SPSS represents one observation. For example, if you go to the look at the data we have, if you count, we have 23 data points. That means what? We have 23 observations. So each row represents one observation. So now what you can do is you start to enter your data one after another. So one by one. So the first one is 42, and the second one is 56. The third one, 69. You might have noticed that by default, SPSS keep two decimal places for you. So you will keep on entering your data into SPSS until you finish it. Now I have finished entering all my data points into SPSS. Okay, what you can do next is you can start doing your data analysis. Let's take a look. The first thing I want to show you today is we will ask SPSS to calculate the descriptive statistics for us. Okay, so you can click on the Analyze tab here, and then you have, when you click on this button or this tab, there will be you will see a list of things you can ask SPSS to do for you. What we're going to do is we select the second one. You can hover your cursor there, and you will have a list of things you can ask SPSS to do. So we'll select descriptive statistics, and we will select the first one, frequencies. Click on frequencies, and there will be a window pop up. And then the first thing, because there is a variable box, you can click the variable into the variable box, select the variable, click, and then this variable will be entered into the variable box. And then now you can click on statistics, and then still remember what is quartiles. Quartiles is like, remember, it's just a brief review. Quartiles refers to 25th percentile, 50th percentile, 75th percentile. If you want to generate quartiles, you can check this box. You can check mean, median, mode. I don't think some will make sense in this particular situation. You don't need, if you need, you can check that box too. But you can check mean, median, mode, and standard deviation, variance, range, minimum, maximum, skewness. Remember skewness? Okay. And then you hit continue. And then if you look at the tab underneath statistics, you see charts. If you click on charts, this is the place you can ask SPSS to create a histogram for you. Okay, so you can select this box, check this option, and then you will see show normal curve on histogram. If you check this box, SPSS will not only create a histogram for you, it also put a normal distribution on top of your histogram as a reference. So you can compare your histogram with this normal distribution to see if your histogram is normally distributed or not. Okay, so let's take a look, and you have checked the histogram option, you check the show normal curve on histogram option, and you hit continue, and then you hit OK. Whenever you hit OK, there will be I will say this is an output window. Okay, so you will be able to see an output window. Let me drag this so you can see the whole picture. Okay, and then in this output window, you can see your output. If you look at this table here, you have mean, median, mode, standard deviation, and then quartiles, and then all those are the descriptive statistics we talked about before. And then if you scroll down, you can also see it's like the frequency table we created. This is the frequency. This is the percentage. This is the valid percent is similar to percent. And still remember cumulative percent. If you forgot, and you can go back to my presentation and give yourself a review. Okay. And then if you scroll down, and you can see this is the histogram created by SPSS. So like I said before, the smooth curve is the normal curve or normal distribution. If you compare your histogram to your normal distribution, you will see your histogram is not symmetrical. See? You have more data points, see, because this bar of this this bar of your histogram is much larger than the rest of the bars. So that means when you have more data points towards the lower end, So that means your histogram is actually skewed. Okay. If you scroll up, you will see the skewness. Say the skewness is positive. That means it tells you your histogram is actually positively skewed. Okay. So this is your output window. So output window is different from the data window. If you want to go back to your data window, you always have to switch back to your data window like I did. So now I'm back to my data window again. And then there's one more thing, two more things actually I want to show you. The first thing is I want to show you how to create a box plot for this data set. Okay, so what you can do is you click on graphs. Did you say graphs on the top? You click on graphs and then you click on the first option, chart builder. Click on this and then this window will pop up and you can just hit OK and then it will disappear. And then you have this window. This is the chart builder window. And then there's a list of charts or graphs you can create. So what we are going to do is we are going to look at the box plot. So you will select box plot. And then when you click on box plot, and there were three options. We're going to use the third one. What you're going to do is you click this third option, click, hold, and drag to this box. And when you are in this box, you release it. And so it will show up there. And then you have one variable, remember? Okay. So what are you going to do is you click on this variable, click it, hold, and drag it. And then whenever you have it, hover it above your x-axis, see the color of your x-axis box will change, and that means you can release it and drop your variable into this axis box. See, it shows up here, and then the next step will be simply click on OK. Let's now it goes to the it led us to our output window. If you look at the output window, you can see your box plot there. So that's your box plot. Now, there's one more thing I want to show you is I want you to calculate z-scores for all these data points you have in this data set. So you don't have, so remember when we talk about z-scores, I give you formula for you to calculate z-scores. That will be using raw score minus mean divided by standard deviation. You don't have to calculate that by hand. If you want to use SPSS to create z-scores for you or calculate z-scores for you, this is how you can do it. Now, you are now in your output window, and then now I would like you to switch back to your data editor window, okay? And then what you can do is click on Analyze, and then go to Descriptive Statistics. But this time, we're not going to select frequencies. We're going to go to the second one, Descriptives. Click on this. And then this window pops up, and then you can see there's one variable like you did before. You're going to select this variable and click this arrow to enter the variable into this variable box. And then you should be able to see there is a box here says save standardized value as variables. And then I would like you to check this box. Again, save standardized value as variables. And you hit OK. Nothing happened. Only have something says your minimum. OK. This is not something you need. I would like you to go back to your data editor window. And then you will realize, OK, actually SPSS create another variable for me. Remember the option you checked? It says save standardized scores as a variable. Standardized score is the z-score. So we mentioned it before in our presentation about z-score. We said a z-score is a type of a standard score. So if you look here, now you have z price means what? This is the z-score for the price variable. And then these are the z-scores for your 23 data points. Okay? So this is how you are going to enter data into SPSS and then ask SPSS to create to calculate descriptive statistics for you and to generate a histogram and to create a box plot and to ask SPSS to calculate z-scores for you. Again, this is your data window. If you want to look at your output, you always need to go to your output window there. Okay. One more thing before I finish, but this tutorial is here is your histogram. If you want to copy and paste your histogram to your Word document and or somewhere else, you can what you can do is you hover your cursor, and then you should be able to see there is a yellow box show up, and then when that yellow box shows up, you right click your mouse. Okay, right click, and then you should be able to see copy, cut, copy, and then what you can do is you click on copy. Okay, and then you go to your Word document and paste there. You will need to this because in our practice exercise 1, I ask you to generate a histogram and to copy and paste the histogram into the Word document I have for you for the practice exercise 1. Okay, so this is the end of our SPSS tutorial 1. Next week, we will learn more about using SPSS.